Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we're looking at a 10v10 tactical, and this was sent in by TheCossack. Now he says in his description, I'm still learning how to play the game and I'm trying the motorized decks. I've played better games with this deck, but you learn more from mistakes than from successes. That's why I'm sending you this replay. After the first 10 minutes of the game, for me, it has stalled and I did not know how to act with the units that I had. I would like you to see the replay and advise me on how I could give it more strength in the attack for this type of deck. So, in his case, Israeli Motorized. I'll greatly appreciate any suggestions for improvement. And he also says, excuses for my mistakes with the language is not my mother tongue. Well, your English is perfectly fine, don't worry about that. I have seen way worse. Anyway, he is going to take his Israeli Motorized deck over to Braugh. Not a bad plan. If you can get there very quickly, you can just shut that whole area down with the Dorban LR. That's the most effective unit that I can imagine in this particular role. It does kind of rely on having to get there first. That's the most risky phase of the operation. If you can get there, park a Dorban LR over here, a Dorban LR over there, you're pretty golden. Now, I've already watched the replay, and for some reason or another, I'm not even sure if there's really get them in the motorized deck, but I'm not seeing Maglans throughout the whole replay. So if they can get them in the motorized setup, go get them, because they are very useful. They're ATGM plus recon. They're a fantastic little bundle. Sure, they're a bit expensive, but you can get so many more points with this. Now, it is a destruction match, by the way, in case I didn't mention that yet. It is 7,500 points, 35 minutes time limit, and the map that we're playing is Punchbowl. His plan is to rush in. He has BTR 152s and the Hummer transports, and as you can see, they are elite, or at least most of them are. I think that's already a really good start, because I have seen plenty of players just go in with units that have, well, regular level of training or less, and that is just not helpful. He is being assisted over here by Elvira Mokte, and this is... was that a Landshot? No. It's using a NATO general, I think. We got a Tiger helicopter scouting out and making sure that none of these Ka-29TBs are able to drop off their forces. Even if they do drop off their forces, the Snap will make short work of them. This is a good delay, because it allows the Hummer transports and the BTRs to get into town. Now, at this point, he's still sticking to the road. I'd say it's really fortunate that he has support from over here, and especially from the Tiger. At this point, I would probably be going directly through the field. Because by going through here, you have a really risky road ahead of you. Now, he's going straight out down the road. I wouldn't recommend it. Because, and I'm going to pause it here for a second. Here. This part is now exposed to all the units which are over there. If you were to go just from here, right through the field, and then potentially use your infantry to walk this way, you wouldn't be facing this many fire, or this much fire from all these units over here. Sure, you'd be sacrificing maybe 10-20 seconds, and that might allow the OT-64A over there to drop off its infantry, but you have a pretty high chance of having more infantry survive. Now, in this case, the Tsananim, by some miracle, have all survived. They even made it into the structure without getting killed off. The units that were firing at them are Schneska, T-55 Dyna, and some as of yet unidentified units, but I think they're Skrajet. What do we got here? That's another tank. You could have taken some serious losses over there, and they only need to hit you once in order to wipe out your infantry and the vehicle at the same time. So try to just go here, instead of going all the way down the road. Now fortunately, you're still getting support over here, and that means that the HGM, the transport got wiped out. He is pushing with the Bedouins. I wouldn't recommend that. The Bedouins are better at a bit of a distance. They don't have an anti-tank weapon, so the only thing that they can look at the only thing that they can do is look at the OT-64 Alpha. They can't shoot it. Well, maybe with an M16, but good luck trying to kill an OT-64A with a machine gun. Sorry, not even a machine gun, but an assault rifle. You do have that Sananim over there. Good choice. But try to get the Bedouins over here. Because from there, they're a bit more secure. And you're not paying terribly high amounts of points for them. But it is usually not a game where you have a lot of income. I mean, it's a 10v10 tactical. The Bedouins are useful at taking down the Fagot ATGM. Missile flies out from the Dorban LR. There goes the Bedouins. Bedouins have been killed off. I'm not sure exactly who did that, but it might have been the T-80Us. There we go. That's another kill. Sananim taking point. Great assault infantry. And now you need to put the Dorban LR to work. Yeah, there we go. Dorban LR switching. One missile lands on the T-80U. Severe damage. One Schneska. Oh, narrowly got taken out. Almost. It disappeared here because you lost line of sight. This is why, especially with the Bedouins, I would recommend you put them a bit further back. Having kept the Bedouins alive, you could have gotten the kill on maybe both of those Schneskas. The Dorban LRs are just way too good to try and miss those shots. Anyway, he says after 10 minutes, I'm stalling. But I'd say after 4 minutes, he already accomplished the objective. He has his units in the middle of Bravo. And usually, when one party gets their forces in there, especially with ATGMs, it is just an utter dissuasion for the enemy team. Usually they go, nope, never mind. They got it, I'm not touching that. I am not going in there. Now in this case, yes, there was still somewhere back here a T-80U. But I'm seeing a lot of transports just falling back. The BTRs and the Hammer. You really need your ally over here. The Vuurploeg, the Fallschirmjäger, and he's pushing forward his YP408s and his Fuchs to deal with the Spetsnaz. You could have done the same thing. Just having all these guys to about here. And from here you can suppress the special forces as they're coming in. Because once the Spetsnaz get into contact with the Fallschirmjäger, it's pretty much anybody's guess who's going to win that. In their weakened state, it will not be the Spetsnaz. But it could have gone a different way. Very, very different way indeed. Now this time I'm seeing that we could come down the road. Probably going to go down to Bravo, if I remember correctly. Yep, there we go. That's one of the Schneska. Loading again. Missile away. In this case, I would probably disable one of the HEGM teams. Because you just wasted 2 to 3 HEGMs to try and deal with a couple of 30-point vehicles. By doing that, you're making yourself less of a threat for units as they come in later. All that I need those Schneskas to do is take one missile. If it was a T-80U, I would have kept them on. All of them. Because you just need more Spike LRs to deal with these things effectively. But if it's a Schneska, not that hard. In this case, I would probably also try and get a logistics vehicle over here. It's not too difficult to get one in, especially if you stick to this road and just drive straight into town. Just to resupply the Dorban LR. Also, split up the Dorban LR. I might even relocate one of these just to here. Because if you have your HGMs, no, not there. Let's say you have one over here, and 1 or 2 squads over there. You're basically shutting down this whole area. Everything that gets spotted is very quick to die. And the the enemies are very unlikely to try and make a push. Because they know that you have HGMs there. You could even go a different way and pull all your forces back. Just get them all out of there. Maybe keep 1 Dorban LR and 1 Sanhanim group. Just 10, not 20. That would probably also be enough to dissuade them. Nice kill there. That's 10 plus the infantry. That's a transport. Anyway, they know that you're here. They don't know if you're still there without sacrificing units. So in this case, having a skeleton crew here of just 1 or 2 Dorban LRs in the Sananim group would be enough. And you could pull the rest of the forces back and then assist somewhere else. Because that was part of his question. I'm stalling. What do I do next? Well, you're using a motorized deck in, as far as I'm concerned, absolutely the right way. Quickly doing a land grab and making sure that you can hold on to that using the Dorban LR. But from here, you will not be able to push. Because like you are shutting down the area over here with ATGMs, they are quite probably doing the same thing. And if not, they can do it with a mechanized unit, a tank, whatever they have available. So don't try to push here. Not recommended. Your infantry is elite. Make use of that. Play on your account. Play on your strength. And that would mean pushing here. Because your ally is already doing it. Olesin over here. Pull either one or both of the Tsananim group back. Using the BTR or the Hamer or whatever. Drive through Delta and start assisting over here. Because the Tsananim have that really nice anti-tank weapon. They're a 10-man shock squad, so they can deal with pretty much everything. Well, except for special forces, that is. But overall, they can handle their own quite well. So in this case, I would say bring them back, pull them out, and just make sure you can get them into a position where they're more useful. If you don't want to go to Charlie, you could also assist over here. Now currently, we have an M1A2 Abrams and Assault Engineer squad over there. In a bit, Cossack is going to bring in a reconnaissance squad over here, another group of Bedouins. Something else that would be very useful over here is another Dorban LR team. Because they just need to know, and they being the enemy, that you have some sort of HEGM, and they'll be really careful with any kind of tank. There's an M84AN there. Maybe the T80U is still there, but I haven't really been paying too close attention to it. And yeah, this is a bit of a risk. By having all your infantry still in here, you are risking getting hit like this. Now, it's not too dangerous, not too deadly. You're not losing forces, but you could have. And I think that this artillery strike was just fairly random. I mean, not random in the sense that they don't know where you are, because they know where you are. They just don't have any follow-up. This was just somebody probably trying to grab some points without any kind of follow-up attack that happened to come after. So you got away really good here, but it could have ended completely different. Another place where you could be helping out is over here on the left. If you want to pull out some of your infantry, you can just assist over in Foxtrot. Or if you're feeling particularly patient, you can see if you can get to here and start walking towards their base. Especially a faster reconnaissance squad can do that. They'd be most useful. Anyway, yep, here we go. The Bedouins have arrived in Bravo at this point. Very useful, because these can be used to just spot anything and everything that happens to you coming across the field. There's communication going on over here from Cardon. He says there are a few heavy tanks, not knowing exactly what. And a ninja is already spotting the back units over here. MSTAS. And a transport. High veterancy, not a transport for a command unit. So this is not necessarily a position that you need to hit with artillery. We need reconnaissance, says the Cossack. Well, you're a motorized deck. You're the most likely player to bring in good reconnaissance units that can still do their job without getting detected. And, oh, this M1A2 played it really close. It just ran out of fuel here. Supply incoming, says Cardon. There we go, there's your Oshkosh, resupplying the units that you have, especially the Dorban LR. Make sure that this Dorban group is actually inside the radius, because they are sitting just outside of it. As you can see, the radius goes to here, and the Dorban LR is just in this building over there, which means that they're not getting resupplied. So in this case, just pull them back one building and make sure that they get their resupply, because this is currently one of your most effective weapon systems. And the same can be said for the Barkhan. They're too far out. Maybe move the Oshkosh a bit. Just move it to here and you catch everyone. Anyway, let's see how the battle is developing elsewhere. Red 4 is at 1320, blue for 2500. Looks like red is reclaiming the sector of Charlie and pushing out all the units from Olesin over here. He was making pretty good headway, but he was also paying very close attention to his command unit and pulling back. That is quite a lot of points to lose, but yeah, this right now could be a good fallback position for your Tsananim. And you'd also be taking some of the pressure off of your ally, because any vehicle that gets too close, it's first going to have to go through here, through the tree line. At which point it will either be just about or slightly outside of the range of the Tsanaim's B300, their anti-tank weapon. So you could pretty quickly eradicate any unit. And similarly have some support from Tsanaim here. Maybe even put a Dorban LR over here in the hills. Because from these hills, especially if you pop out every now and then, you can get a commanding view over here. You could get the Osa killed. It's not too far. Well, it might be too far. But from here you can do quite a bit of damage. Oh, somebody forgot to turn their Tunguska off. To the favor of the Tornado ECR. Now, a motorized deck is not the easiest deck to play, I'll grant you that. It has some very good, strong sides to it. Quick land grab, good infantry to very good infantry. But outside of that, I get what you mean with it starts to struggle. Because you need an ally. You could not push out from Bravo without either taking severe losses or having an ally with, for example, a mechanized or an armored deck to support you. Or, well, maybe to take the brunt of the fire and then you try and rush in and take the buildings over there. That would be one way to try and do it. What you're doing over here in the middle is, as far as I'm concerned, pretty much the right thing. It's just that you're doing it with too many units. Because you got a lot of forces over there, pretty much the entirety of your starting force. You're just camping out here. You're denying the enemy the opportunity to capture this area and to gain 4 points, which they can use to buy more units with. But at the same time, your assets are not that useful. You could also swap around here with the Bedouin and the Dorban. Give the Dorban just a little bit more range. And allow it to start putting more pressure. There we go. I didn't have to say anything. To put more pressure on the TDU. If you're feeling particularly brave, you could ask Cardon to swap with the Assault Engineers. So that the Dorban LR can support the Rangers and the Abrams a bit better. Yep, okay. ATGMs flying in from over here. You definitely do not want to push out with any kind of a vehicle. If you're feeling bored, you could try using one, well, 325 for example, or one of the Hammers. Because these guys are really quick, 80 kilometer off-road. Peek out and pull right back. Break line of sight and they start wasting their ATGMs. You're going to play hide and seek with an ATGM. It's risky, but once the ATGMs are expended, then you might be able to push. Because then the enemy doesn't have any more, at least anti-vehicle weapons that they can use against you or your allies quickly. That is another role that you could have played over here. Ideally though, assist your allies a bit more over here. This is an ideal battleground for a motorized deck. Because not only are you going to be able to get there faster than most of the other players, I mean, an M113 only does 110 on road. You do 150. You could have gotten here a long time ago and just assisted. And we also seem to have some incursions over here, which got countered out by the Live Garden. If you see that the enemy has some sort of force skirmishing behind your lines, that is also a cue for a motorized deck to jump into action. Because you don't really have to pay too much attention over here. This group will sustain itself, especially with your ally pushing out like that. And that means that you can divide your attention between keeping, let's say, 10 to 20% of your attention on here, and just going to look for the forces which are harassing your guys back here. Because this Bekan 1C is valuable. It does need to survive. Same for the Makhmat. Very useful assets. So if you can help with keeping those assets alive, it might not directly give you points, but it will help your team achieve the victory. Now, for more motorized gameplay, I'd also recommend checking out Rasman's channel. He is a far better player than I am, and he'll probably have quite a few replays of motorized stuff, at least insofar as he uses that. And he also covers live games and discusses his considerations there. So I'll link him down below in the description. Very much recommended that you check him out as well. Now at this point you got the Bedouins over here. Yeah, see, these guys are a little late. The problem with the Hammer, and what I think is more of the... what are they called? The Sananim. You're a little late. Because your allies have already pushed up to here. And that means that once again you got this whole field, which is for a motorized deck just a huge no-go area. You cannot push out from there. If you would have wanted to support this push, either arrive 10 minutes ago, or don't bring the Hammer with the Sananim, but bring Dorban Alar. Because if you put one Dorban Alar there and one there, maybe backed up by either the commandos or a Bedouin group of your own spawning from there, you can again shut down this whole area and make sure that any vehicle that comes down the road is either going to get taken out or get hit and get dissuaded from doing any further pushing. So make sure that you bring, in this case, more HGMs. I think that in my motorized Israeli deck, I have a lot of the Dorban LR, just to make sure that I can keep the enemy at bay. And always love to see an automatic at work. The Dorban LR are just fantastic area denial weapons. That's how I use them, not necessarily their only use, because they're also just great killers, but seeing a Dorban LR missile or a Spike LR missile fly at you at high speed and do 21 damage is usually a significant dissuasive measure to make sure that the enemy will not push into you. This is really risky, pushing from here to right there, because you don't have any idea about what's going on there. You got one Merkava for support. That T-80U or even a T-55 is still here. One shot, one Hammer dead, plus infantry. Yeah, the T-80U is still there. Tunguska. There we go. Spetsnaz Gru taking a shot with a sniper rifle. They never should have had that active, because now they just gave their position away. Airstrike comes in from an Alpha Jet. The fact that they can get this close really goes to show how weak area denial for anti-air Red 4 is over here. You can just fly in with jets, a Tornado ECR, an Alpha Jet. Here comes a Fighting Falcon. It is late game at this point, because Red 4 is down 2,000 points. There's a Conquerors team. You can intercept that. That has to be your job. Take down the Conquerors. Because you know the allies are operating a Merkava here. And these can probably one-shot the Merkava, depending on whether they get a side or not. If they do, you lose your tank over here. And more importantly, the Merkava 3 Bravo is going to get locked down. Now, time to deal with some BMP-1Ds. Fortunately panicked. Kill one. I think one burned up, so that's the second one dead. And also, and I'm not seeing it, maybe you already did it through chat, but you can always ask your allies for smoke screens. Over here, from let's say the spot where you came down the road to here, if the enemy, or if one of your allies had just put up a smoke screen, let's say around there, it would have been far safer for you to push in. If it had been the T-80U, you would have lost these guys. But it is really valuable for the entirety of your team to have the guys over here. So just ask for a smoke screen. And go, hey guys, I want to try and get this position. Could somebody put up a smoke screen? Communicate. Either through a text marker or through the in-game chat, which of course in a replay I can't see. But either of those methods could have been very useful to get the Sun and Nemo alive. They are alive, sure. So maybe it's just an entirely academic point. But it is risky. Same this. Good lord. You got away with it. But I would probably go here. Whoops, that's a really large cursor. How do I get that smaller? There. I would probably go to about here, off-road, and then through there. Because then this tree line here is keeping me safe from ATGMs, which are still somewhere in this forest there. I know that the area here is clear because my allies are there. I know that the area here cannot be fired from because of the tree line there. And you could just make sure that the Hammer, again, are safer. You're taking some serious risks. More than you need to. And you're getting away with it. But this could have very... Uh-oh. Are you getting away with it? Once again, very lucky that these are rookies and panicked. Otherwise, 2 shots and you're dead. Overall, I'd say you played well, but you're taking a lot of risks. You're getting away with it. But personally, I would take a few risks less. Especially over here, as you were trying to charge this position, and then here. You know that there are HGMs in here, or were. But your allies haven't pushed in this far. And from over here, they could have still reinforced that side. So, well played. Just try to limit your amount of risk, because you don't need that much. Score, 601 versus 135. Well done points-wise. You got quite a few units killed. Let's have a look at what. Resupply, Dyna 1, command unit no less. Yeah, mostly transports and lower value stuff. But overall, I'd say your performance was good because you did area denial, which I think is what the motorized deck on this map does really well. Anyway, that is it for me from this replay. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Any tips for the Cossack? Please put it in constructive criticism, because just saying he played like shit is not going to help anybody. It's not going to help you, it's not going to help him, and it's not going to help anybody else who's trying to learn the game. And again, link down below in the description to Razman's channel, where you can learn a lot more about the fine management skills of units. Far better than I could ever explain it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you soon for another video.